Parents of Reddit, what's the best child hack you've figured out to make your life as a parent easier? Not a parent, but a daycare worker, and I learned this through Reddit. If a child is having a meltdown, ask what color their shoes, shirts, pants, whatever clothing they're wearing are. This distracts the child long enough to stop them in the midst of their meltdown because they haven't thought about what they are wearing. I used this trick twice on a kid today who was just having a terrible day. Calmed them right down. No a parent, but when I was a child my mom would hide her 4 glass birds, little sculptures she had, around the house. My sister and I had to look for them. We had to be very careful while looking so we didn't break them. If we broke one, we lost. If we left drawers, door cabinets open, we lost. You would think that we could tie and each find 2 birds, but it never happened. We would go to mom when we gave up, and she would hide them all over again. It wasn't until I was an adult did I realize that she never hid a 4th bird, but boy did we spend a long time looking. To get a newborn to burp, sit them on your knee, holding them under their armpits, and move their upper bodies in a circle several times, like a reverse hula move I guess. I learned it from a neonatal nurse, and it's almost infallible, so much faster and more reliable than regular burping. This saved me so many times. It was almost like magic. The baby would be crying painfully, a higher more urgent cry, and I'd do the swirl a couple times, pat, burp and instant silence. It didn't work every time but most of the time. When mine were younger, say 3 or 4, and it was close to time to stop playing at the park or in the pool, I always gave them plenty of warning using a concrete timeline that they could understand. Instead of saying we're leaving soon or 5 more minutes, I would tell them something like, okay, let me see you jump in the pool, 7 more jumps and we're leaving. Sometimes the number was higher, but never less than 5. Less than 5 was always met with come on, just 1 more, which usually wasn't allowed. 7 or more was always such a big number that they seemed to get their fill and were ready to go when it was time. What if they do 6 jumps and then stop so you can't leave? When my kids were little my wife worked at a health club and I would take the kids swimming in the evening. We'd always pack their PJs for their clothes they'd change into after swimming. That way, they got out of the pool, showered, and changed into pajamas. They didn't always go to bed right when we got home, but they were always ready for bed when we got home. It was my wife's idea. My mom did the same. Nothing better than getting home and crawling directly into bed. Dennis is where I teach them restaurant etiquette. Zero pressure and light on the wallet. As an adult Dennis patron with no kids. Good for you. No complaints. It's a Dennis. Sorry if your kid has seen me drunk. Learn to say thank you and I'm sorry to them. It makes you closer and helps your relationship with them no matter what age. Experiences are better than things. Waking up before them makes the day a lot easier. Find a way to see them when you're driving. I'm really looking forward to the day when I'm waking my little one up in the morning, rather than him slapping in the face at 4 AM. The best advice I ever received as a parent. It's all about the long game. Work really hard now to mold them into decent and intelligent little people and you can worry less as they turn into more responsible, respectful teens, young adults. It's a way to ensure quieter years later. If you have a hard time getting them to eat their vegetables, give them before the dinner because that's when they are hungry and will eat almost anything. Give them some carrots and cucumbers in a glass, which is a great snack. Giving veggies first is an awesome idea. I'll sometimes give them a bowl of salad while we wait for the meat to finish cooking and they will eat much more salad than they would if they were given it at the same time as everything else. Veggie sticks with hummus or other healthy dip are also an awesome thing to give them. I had 3 kids very close in age. At one point I assigned them each a day of the week. They each got 2 and Sunday was the leftover whatever the question was. The answer was whose day is it? Who gets to go first? Who gets to ride in the front? Who has to take their bath first? I saved so many arguments with this. I have 2 kids. The eldest was born on an odd day, the youngest on an even day. We divided our days up this way, odd and even days. Saw one on Reddit where if you want to enjoy some time undisturbed, tell your kids that you're taking a nap and when you wake up all of you are going to do chores together. They'll want to let you sleep as long as possible to avoid doing housework, so they'll leave you alone to actually nap or do other things like read. You just made me realize my parents outsmarted me every weekend of my childhood. Be mindful of how you phrase questions. Example, instead of "do you want a hot dog for supper?" ask "what do you want on your hot dog?" If your kid's a dong, it won't matter, but it will help at most situations. I told my kid her ears turn red when she tells a lie. Now she covers her ears when she lies. She is almost 7 and it still works. Kinda reminds me of how my dad told my sister that eating bread crusts gives you the ability to whistle. She ate her crusts religiously after he started telling her that, but still can't whistle. She found out the truth when she was like 15 and told someone she didn't think she started eating crusts early enough in life for it to make her able to whistle, and they were confused as frick. When your kid sees something they want like a toy or game and you don't want to buy it, tell them to put it on the list. If they're the type of kid that will follow through, then you have a handy list for Christmas or birthdays. If not, then they'll forget about it. Helps avoid arguments in the store because you aren't really saying no. My mom did this to me, and apparently it worked a little too well. There were times I wanted something on my Christmas list, but it was cheap enough she had a little extra money to get it that she would offer to get it for me then. But I didn't want it then. I wanted it put on my Christmas list. If you threaten a consequence, follow through 100% of the time. Kids will test boundaries at every age, you just have to make it appropriate for their age group. If you throw sand again, we are leaving the beach. You must leave the beach. If you don't clean your room, no screen time tomorrow. No screen time. The key is to make the consequences not impact you to the point that you don't want to follow through, since it will ruin your day too. A hard line to toe, but boy do boundaries and trust work. Let your baby watch you fall asleep. If it's their bedtime, don't play on your phone or read a book. They are following your lead, so be boring. Close your eyes and be still and quiet, and they will learn to too. This is what I have to do to get mine to sleep. He stares at me so intently. If I have my phone in my hand and he can't see, he knows. But as soon as I close my eyes and settle down, he goes right to sleep. If they are cranky, put them in water. I have teenagers. This is still the method that I use. Even having them wash their hands or face does wonders. To be fair, I do it with my husband too. So really, I guess it's just works for humans. I feel like you're the mom who carries a small spray bottle in her purse. My kids didn't understand the difference between different days. For example, we'll go to the store in 3 days. So my husband started calling it sleeps. Now we say we'll go to the store in 3 sleeps. Also, offer a choice. Do you want to put your shoes on first or brush your hair first? It short circuits their tendency to fight you and makes them feel like they're making their own decisions, which they are. Make sure the options listed are ones you're okay with though. I do the choices thing with my nieces. It always made sense to me to talk to them like that. Nobody likes being told what to do. Very rarely does the older one, 9, catch on and refuse. And even then, she caves after I say you gotta pick one. Bud, those are the options. It 100% helps that their parents aren't shitty and actually parent their kids. If you have a toddler who likes to get naked when they are supposed to be sleeping, you can cut the feet off of footy pajamas and put them on them backwards, with the zipper on their back, and then they won't be able to get them off. Baby straitjacket, TM. My wife and I came up with a short, unique whistle that both kids knew meant come here to us. Works in malls, water parks, or just to come in and clean up for dinner. Fellow parents were amazed by this. Teach them early. My dad did this with me and my sisters. I remember one time we were at a neighborhood party and I was swimming. He whistled while I was underwater. I heard and popped up. He was standing with all of his friends showing off that he could get my attention whenever he needed to. Lassane bedding. Waterproof sheet, waterproof sheet. No changing wet beds in the night, just pull off top layer and change child. Best advice we ever got from our doctor. Babies don't have a good circadian rhythm and rely on us to set one for them. Pick a time that you're going to go to quiet time. Basically turn out lights, TV off and or volume down. Do quiet activities. Sit still, etc. We did this with our first child and it became the center of our evening routine. Now my son is 3 and knows that when the clock says 7:00 it means settle down time and helps to turn the lights out. A routine is key. Our kids do great transitioning from one setting to another, like home and school, on vacation, etc. I mean, they're little a-hole toddlers a lot of the time, but that's expected with toddlers. I make kid traps. It works for all ages. I have an early riser, an enthusiastic 5 AM early riser for many years. Things are better now. During those tough years, my invention came to fruition, and age of child is a factor as well as placement of the traps. With little ones, you need traps all over the house, and the key spot is right outside the door, placed after the child goes to bed. This is what all those shoes boxes you have are best recycled for. Inside the box you will place a number of surprises that can entertain the child. Really, it can be anything that will not harm them. It could be several rolls of cardboard toilet paper, blocks, a couple of figurines, weird stuff. Again, nothing that can harm them. With smaller kids that get into everything, you need these all over the house so that when they open a drawer or cupboard, it's the first thing they find, and instead of ripping the tape out of your classic VHS tapes or ripping your comic collection to shreds, they go through all the things in the kid trap. You do need to replace items in the boxes frequently. As the child gets older, more art supplies should be included. Drawing materials, crafty things, pieces of clothing, books, games, stickies. It really works. Don't give them stickers. I hate stickers. Until they learn to forage. That's code for feed themselves. Good luck. When I was around 4, I would wake up at an ungodly hour to watch Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. My mother, who was wonderfully artistic, would leave a drawing outside my bedroom door, and I would do my best to copy it every morning for her. I would then watch my cartoons. My mother would get a bit more sleep, and then I would go rouse her and show her my copy. I draw and paint now as my hobby. Have a baby who turns away as you're about to wipe their face? Wipe your own face first. The non-verbal communication allows the baby to understand what's happening. Might not work at first, but keep at it. The child will start to let you wipe. Let them be messy sometimes. I'm a neat freak, so this was hard for me at first. Doesn't matter what kind of home you have, just put them in the tub with those bath paints, or tape some trash bags to a kid table or the ground and let them paint. Don't worry about the mess. They will have fun and it's building good memories. This one is kind of mean, but when one of my kids wants something I'm eating, I just say you don't like this. Remember. Bubbles. Seriously magical. For especially long car rides or traffic or just for fun. Keep some bubbles up front. Cuff holder ideally. Turn on the AC or fan. Hold bubble wand up and instant stream of happiness. I've found myself doing this alone in cranky traffic jams and open the windows to spread the mirth and glee. Also, have tiny bubble bottles, like wedding favor sized, and easy to share with others in need out and about. 1. Any food they didn't like was labeled turkey. They are 12 and 8 and only just realized fish isn't turkey. They would always wonder why turkey has so many different flavors and how they like some but not others. 2. Starting as soon as they can walk. Ask for help for just about everything, and they will help and enjoy being needed. And when they do tasks and ask for help, help them. They will always help if you teach them to do it as a family instead of an individual task. Clean house. Yes, please. 3. Biggest one of all. Listen to them. Everything they say to you is really important to them, no matter how stupid it is. And learn what they like, even if it's boring. This comes in handy when they're older. Teach your kids to read very early. Read to them as soon as you bring them home, but really focus at age 2. Start making them read back to you at 3. Make it fun. When you give a kid the love of reading at an early age, the rest of school is usually a cakewalk. They are ahead of the curve in many ways, and, if they love reading, they always have something to do. And if you buy them a book when they are good and make a reward out of it, you don't need to wait for another Harry Potter to come out to get them to read. My mother did it with her children. I did it with mine. It works. Teach them how to express their feelings and validate them when they do. Yes, this is tremendously important. When my oldest, now 5, was a toddler, we started giving him a 5-minute warning for bed because otherwise he would lose his mind. 5-minute warning can be 5 minutes or an hour. But now the kids are way more mentally prepared when we tell them it's time for bed, and it's a breeze 99% of the time. When you go grocery shopping with a small child, park near the cart corral. You don't have to play the awkward game of choosing to leave your child in the cart or the car when returning the cart. Make them feel a sense of control by giving reasonable choices. Do you want to walk to bed or be carried? Do you want to wear the blue shoes or the red ones? Would you like cheese or a banana for snack? Also, baby sign language. Do that crap. You have been visited by the wealth rat. Subscribe in 12 seconds and he will share his wealth with you. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Or don't. Either way, have a great day, you magnificent people.